Alrighty, guys. I think we've done it. We have found the best indicator out there in order to get these kind of returns. All right, this is right off of my brokerage account. Our year to date, we're at 108.76% after today's close. And we're heading into a time where we typically will rally. So, thinking that we can finish maybe 150, 130%. Super excited about it. I want to get into this indicator. Want you guys to be able to have it so that way you guys heading into 2026 are ready to make these kind of returns and get your investing journey going. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. And the indicator is pretty straightforward. Okay, I've talked to tons of people. They've all been using it. They really like it. They're seeing the same kind of results. So let's just kind of dive right into this. All right, all the details of how to get it, use it, everything like that are in the description, but make sure you watch this video, okay? We're going to go ahead and dive in. Here's an example. We're just on HIMS. We can start back here in September of 2024 if you wanted to. We have buy alert. We have cash secured puts. If you do cash secured puts, you don't have to do cash secured puts. That indicator, you can go ahead and hide those ones if you don't do cash secured puts or covered calls. But this is a really easy indicator that helps you know exactly where you should be looking to buy and where you should be looking to add and where you should be looking to trim and where you should be looking to sell. Okay, because a lot of times you'll start seeing a company run, and then you go, should I still buy? Well, we've entered a sell zone, so no, do not buy. A time to be adding or buying was here. Okay, gray is a neutral zone. Okay, so that's like, at your own risk, right? We're just kind of in the neutral zone. Could go a little higher, could go a little lower, but right, everyone's got their opinions of what the market is going to do at that moment. Like if you're right here and you're super bullish all of a sudden and you thought so, sure, go for it. Okay. But the indicator is meant to help you realize where the stock is value wise, right? Is it a good value? Is it a good time to add or buy? Or is it overpriced and I should just hold off? Okay. Now, the labels populate and sorry about that. Whew. Labels populate and they typically can find a bottom. Okay. Typically. Now, that's not, when the label populates, it's not telling you to do it right that second. Okay. And I know some of you might say, well, that's what I want. Well, just so you know, no indicator is going to time the bottom for you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to time the top perfectly either. Okay. We got to get that out of our heads that is, and some of you might have just clicked off. Okay. It's perfectly fine. Maybe investing isn't for you, right? So, but for us long-term swing traders, investors, right? I'm fine buying here at sixes and getting a little trim and getting a little sell. Okay, we're entering a little buy zone back here, so we would have, got that trim sell 14s. We got it all the way up to 16s, and then we get to the green, entering a buy zone here, back in the 12s. We get trimming again in the 20s, buying again in the 14s, a little bit of trim in the 30s, and more trim, and more sell up to 60. We're buying again in the 20s. We're trimming again in the 60s, entered a buy zone. In the 40s, another sell zone in the 63s, another add in the 40s. No sell trim zone. We never got to the point where the company felt like it was going to be overvalued. So you might own some at the 40s again, but then we get an add. Again, the labels don't say to do it. The label is telling you we've hit a value where adding typically takes place. Okay. So there's a valuation in companies basically when they hit a certain low value across many charts, it becomes an adding opportunity. Okay. And you can see the adding opportunity has found bottoms. Okay. And then this most recent sell off, yes, it hit an add, but if I show you my other indicators we like to pair with this, and it's a normal indicator you guys all probably for the most part have used and paired it with other stocks and other chartings, and I will show you that, but the color coding allows you to know what zone you're in. Okay, we're in an adding zone. Okay, now we're in a buy zone. Okay, it lets you know the better the value is getting. Okay, we never got to a buy zone here. We got to a buy zone here, but we never got so undervalued, it actually gave us the label. Okay. Same thing. Look at the last time we got a buy was in $6. We didn't get one here. We didn't even get one when it went all the way to 70, back down to 25. We didn't even get a buy label. Now we got a buy label. That's how like oversold this company is compared to other times it's dropped so much. It's 39 and it wasn't even a buy at 24. So this is the part where, right, the label, yes, timed the bottom, but the confirmation wasn't in yet. And I'll go over that later. Okay, let's go to another stock just so you guys are like, well, that works on HIMS, right? Let's go to a different one. Archer. Okay, same thing. We got a buy zone, cash secured put zone. Anywhere in here you could have bought or added, right? Anywhere in here, we got a nice little trim. We got a trim, a sell, entered a buy zone. We didn't get an add alert, but we did get an add alert here. Entered a little bit of a buy, entered a little sell zone, entered a little sell zone, entered an add zone, entered a sell zone, and now we're back down to a buy zone. Okay, and sure enough, I know this because our group got into this. We got into it somewhere at like 7:45, I think, is where the alert came into. Somewhere on this day, confirmation came in, and sure enough, we got it, and now we're up $1.15 a share. Okay, so we have been enjoying this for sure. It's been a great indicator, helps us understand. For the most part, one of the ones, like I said, the indicator doesn't just help you understand that right now is a good time to buy. It also tells you right now is a bad time to buy. Okay. For example, we had tons of people asking about path. Okay. You're in an add zone, a buy zone. We got a quick little sell zone. You got a little add here, a buy, right? So you're kind of going through here, and then sure enough, we got a boom, 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 trim, and then we entered a buy zone again. Okay, and then right here on these 2 days, everyone was messaging us is like, hey, a path is at 18. Should we be buying? Like, is it going to keep going? Is it going to keep going? Well, take a look. The time to be thinking about buying was right here, right? We're hitting this little green, and then we got confirmation probably on other indicators that momentum or mainly momentum, but momentum was picking up on other indicators and finally went bullish instead of being a bearish on the momentum. And once the momentum flipped to bullish, that is when you should have bought, right? Probably in these little two windows in the 13s, right? But instead of, most people would buy like an um, seasoned someone getting into stocks just sees this thing going up and they're like, oh, let's buy it. No, this is not the time to buy it. This is not the time to get in to path. Okay. Could it keep going? Yes. But guess what? I'm still want to find stocks that I can buy down here and get into this run. Could it keep going? Absolutely. We haven't even gotten the first trim alert. Okay. And the way these alerts go, and now that I can kind of show you, like, this will save you money by not buying a stock. It also save you money and make you money by getting into stocks. Okay. By not making bad trades, you become a way more profitable trader. Okay. And that's what's also being important. That's why I say there's entering a buy zone. There's the neon green is a buy zone. We're in a zone, right? These are all zones. Okay. Saying the companies are undervalued. This is where you could be looking to add if you wanted to add, okay? This is where you'd be looking to buy, like lean into it a little bit more than you would if you were just adding. You'd buy more here, okay? Same thing here. We get an add and then we enter this buy zone, okay? Buy zone, add zone, okay? During this whole time, consolidation was happening and we finally got up here and we can get this trim alert, okay? And just until you know, and I'll go through the colors, the more, and I'll find a stock that goes through all the colors. I think IREN or ONDS, I'm sure it has them all. But if you take a look here, we're in this whole buy zone here. And the more adamant the colors get, the stronger the feeling. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Okay. I mean, and it actually doesn't have the other trim. It only has the light trim, which is the lightest trim. Okay. So this is like reducing your position 5% maybe, right? Taking some win off the table. We're just getting there. Once you see it, like, it's not on the label. Again, remember, the label is just telling you we hit a target where typically trimming happens. Which one were we just on that showed that? Path. Path was just there. And this is what I mean by the 5%. look, it hit this on the nose. This is typically where the first trimming takes place. Sure enough, it did. Okay. A lot of people trimmed, or a lot of news came out, whatever it may have been. You could have at least taken 5% of your position off the table, and you could have picked more up and got out 17s, picked more up on a 13, and then ran it right back to where you were and higher than where you were. Okay. So you just saved some money. Okay. That's the point. It's not to tell you to do it right then and there, but it is telling you, hey, be on the lookout to trim somewhat of a small position. Now you're going to get a darker orange color. Let me see if I think SoFi's got more trim. So yeah, there we go. Here's the light trim. And again, you can change the colors, I believe, in your here, rangefinder, range triggers. Okay. You can go ahead and change the colors. If you have a better color scheme to your liking, go ahead and change the colors. I made sure it was custom. You could change the legend as well, change the color of the candles and the labels. That way, everyone can have it to their liking. If you need a bigger legend, you can do that. Need to change the font colors, you can do that. Like here's normal. Should populate a little bigger. There you go. All right. So it's just more adamant. Okay. So here's like a 5%. Maybe you're trimming 10%. Maybe this is now trimming 15%, another 15%, another 10%, right? Once you get other indications telling you to be bearish, these are just telling you this is where a lot of people will take trim based on the company's value. Okay, it's getting a little more overvalued. Therefore, the trimming is becoming a little heavier. We never got the sell, like ONDS, for example. What do I mean by sell? Okay, well, take a look right here, right? We get a light trim, medium trim, we get a light sell. Okay, light sells, just so you know, are still companies fairly overvalued. Okay. Red sell is typically the standard when someone says a company is overvalued. A purple, sell everything. Don't question a purple candle. I'm telling you this now. I have not seen a company run much past a purple candle, but I have seen a company fall a lot farther down than it went up from a purple candle. If we take that measurement from this purple candle, I don't care, measure it from the middle of a purple down to the middle of this wick, it's a 50% drop. Just get out on the purple candles for sure. But some will never hit a purple candle. And you might think another company, Iren, right? That one has ran a lot. Purple candle. And sure, did it go up more? Absolutely. It went 62 to 75. But if we take, let me remove our other indicators. All right, so if we take this middle of this purple, I'm just going to go from the middle to each middle to the very top. If you could time the top, you would have went up 23%. Versus if we take this and go to the downside, go to the middle of this downside, there you go. You drop 30%. You will fall more from the purple candle than you will go up from the purple candle. So far, so true. People will ask about Palantir all the time. Okay. I never got a purple candle. I have yet to really get any sort of sells. This is where the light sell. Oh, there's a purple candle. Purple candle, 73. You still entered a buy zone again later on into the 65s. Okay. Got to still saved a little bit of money on your sell all. Boom, boom, boom. We got to sell here. This is where I said the first little light sell is where typically the first potential sell off happens from hitting that overvalued number. Okay. So that's why I put all three targets in there. It just tells you, okay, this is, we're entering the first sell. It's usually super light. It's nothing crazy. Then we get the next sell, dark red. And it's like, okay, this is like same, again, middle of the road sell, the purple, sell all. This is the top of this run, or pretty dang close. Don't have to listen to me, but I'm telling you right now, you will be able to buy it for cheaper. Okay. Here is your light pink. Sure enough, once you saw this sell, you got another buying opportunity, another 40% down from here. Awesome, right? And then you bought, we went to another trim, another trim, another trim, a dark trim, entered a little bit of a buy zone, trim, 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 entered another buy zone. Okay. Along the way, now you're asking, okay, what should I pair this with? Okay. And one, whatever you want. Again, none of it's financial advice. I'm telling you what I've been using and what has been working. Okay. So when I take a look and click out of here, what do I have? I have a MACD and I have this one, stochastic, I believe is what it's called. Yep. Stochastic RSI. And I believe if you just type in stochastic, yeah, RSI. Okay. And the way it works is, okay, let's take a look. We're going to get this little trim alert here. Okay, trim, trim, trim. And MACD, if you take a look here, went red. Okay, boom. So you could wait for confirmation or you could follow the label. That's up to you. Again, how you go about it. But this indicator is telling me I am in a trim zone. And now I do see the MACD has flipped bearish. So boom, I could go ahead and take some of my trimmings here. And then sure enough, we get this big drop down to 146. Okay. Here's a little trim right here. So this is the part where I say this is where initial trim comes into place. We got a little bit of plateauing here, right? And now we're really in this like flat neutral zone that is still the same price, but now it's neutral. So that's an opinion one. Do you want to take that trim? Or because you already trimmed here, right, would you have trimmed again? And my assumption is that you wouldn't, right? You maybe bought this, you already trimmed at that price. I don't think I would trim again, right? So trim, trim. Now you went higher here, and sure enough, we hit this bearishness also. And this stochastic is purple, and it broke across the moving average. This is what that white line is. You don't have to change any settings. RSI or MACD, I do have 10, 20, and 5. Some people prefer the 12, 26, and 9, which is the default settings on the MACD. 10, 20, and 5 don't lag as much, but they can give you a little bit earlier exits or false signals because of like this choppiness, right? Like it's just shorter term, so therefore it moves a little quicker on movements. Therefore, it might tell you it's on a downward move. So that's why I like both, to confirm both are in a bearish movement. So if I see right here, right, this is flipped red and I can see this purple is heading straight to the white, I'm out. I'm getting out. Okay. So if they both tell me the same direction is going in, I will follow what the signal did say. It said to trim. I'm going to go ahead and trim. It did not say sell all, right? It never got there. So let's go to another one. We'll go back to SoFi. Okay. We're in the neutral zone. I'm not touching it. I'm not buying it. I'm not selling it right now. The opportunity would have been that one day it got down to 23. But as you can see right here, actually, let's go to a better buying opportunity. That's not really a good buying opportunity. HIMS was a great buying opportunity that we took advantage of for sure. Okay. Here's HIMS, right? We're down here in the buy. Now, you go, well, Colby, why wouldn't I just buy when the label says to buy? Well, if we go down and look at this MACD right here, the MACD is still shifting down. There's nothing that has told me that the bottom is in. We get a little curling happening here, and it looks like we are going to flip bullish. Okay. Same thing here. You thought this, because the purple went over the white line, we were bullish. Well, guess what? The MACD didn't say that, right? So you got to use them both to your advantage. Now you have the purple crossing the white line and the MACD has flipped green. So what day would we have bought? The day after the bottom came in, we confirmed bullishness. We bought at 35. We ran to 39. Okay. That's how that works. We have an add alert right here. If you take a look, add, right? Happens here. Sure, 43. But I want to wait for confirmation. Wait 3 more days. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Instead of buying for 44, basically 43.91, we bought for 44.34. Just to give me that peace of mind and confirmation that we are heading back up. Now I have the MACD flipped green and I have the purple crossed over the white. Okay. Now you get there, and it runs up to 60. Again, we're back in the neutral zone. Would have been your call whether or not you were thinking to get out based on market conditions. We never got, because the company's not overvalued when it's at 57. I mean, it barely got to the first trim when it got to 60s and 70s. Okay, so not worried about that. Another one that we did great on this week was Archer. Okay, same thing. We got the ad. Okay, look, if you take a look down at the MACD, does it say to add? No, it still says we're bearish. Okay, now we're going to go here to the green flip, right? Green flip. The purple is crossing over. You could have waited one more day if you wanted to. But if the MACD flips green, usually the MACD actually lags behind this. This usually leads as far as the signal goes. So if the MACD flips green, I'm confident that the stochastic is going to flip green. So it would have been your day, whatever one you wanted. You could have bought somewhere 732. I think we bought at 745. So we bought somewhere in this day, I'm sure, one of these days. 745, and now we're up to 860. Okay, because we waited for the double confirmation. We want this white line to be under your dotted line at the negative 40. Okay, and then I run this, like I said, with the 10, 20, and 5 instead of the standard 12, 26, and 9. Okay. So what's another one here? Fubo's getting really close, I do believe. So Fubo, we got a buy alert today. Okay. And look, it looks like the bottom is sure enough about to come in. We are about to flip to green here. Okay. And we're way overbought or oversold, right? We had an ad here. Sure enough, you got the flick of the green. You got the stochastic flipping up. Boom, 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 boom. Right? And we finally had a little sell area here. And you could have waited, and we got a flip of the red. We got a downtrend. And it's in the same zone that this red one was. So that would have been your call. Okay. I do believe we got out at 424, 417, I think is where we got out on. We took that. And then sure enough, we waited. We did add here, which we did had a nice run up, right? We did boom. We spiked up 436. We just didn't get out, which is perfectly fine. We're buying more now. And we're going to get this confirmation. You can see this is going to be a confirmation here probably next week to the upside. Okay. Same thing. Let's see what ABCL looks like. Okay. We went from entering the buy zone to an add zone. If we take a look here, the add, yes, this histogram is heading more toward bullish, but it wasn't in yet. Okay. We weren't there yet. We still were waiting for a little bit more confirmation of this trend reversing. Okay. And sure enough, we got the flick of green on this day. If you wanted to wait a couple more days, you could have got in 360. And time will tell, but I got a feeling we're in the buy zone, and we got both things, bullish indicators heading to the upside. I have a good feeling that we're going to go to the upside. All right. Just got to follow the strategy, and it's been working. Same thing. I'll just show you another one. Here's a buy zone. Okay. And just so you know, I had a question that did come up today. Sorry if the video is getting long. I just want to go over it. You guys can pause it, go back, get the indicator, put it on, join in, look at the video. But this was a bright green candle. But by the end of the day at close, it was yellow. Okay. The candles will remain changing during the day based on the price movement because a stock's value changes as the price changes. But once the day closes, it'll stay that color. So the day closed with a yellow candle, it'll stay a yellow candle. Okay. So for a second, we got in here. But if you take a look, we went from an add zone, no confirmation yet, right? No confirmation yet. And we got confirmation. You could have either bought this day or the next day. Either way, you're buying somewhere in the 42s, low 42s, 42.10, 42, maybe you bought at 42.30. Okay, and now we're back to 49. And we still got plenty of room to go to get to this upside of the MACD. And we got a little bit more room to get up here on the momentum. Okay, so that is how I pair it. That is the simplest way to pair it. Our zones, the labels populate when the value of overvalued or undervalued strike a specific value. Okay, so just because the label populates doesn't mean to do it, but it does mean be ready to add with your confirmation. Okay, or be ready to buy. Okay, again, the brighter or deeper or richer the color is, the more adamant the indicator is meaning to do something. All right, that is everything I have for you guys. Stay tuned for the next video because I'm going to go over the next top plays to finish the year out. All right, guys, thanks.